Do 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 da dee, de dum dum. Like the rhythm, but I need a title that is going to fit my new song. Something, it's got to be something memorable. It's got to be something that stands out for everyone to buy the single. It should be something that's, what's the word these days? Catchy, that's it. Hang on. This seems to be a Disney villain character review based on who else? Cruella De Vil. How about that? Cruella De Vil. That's it. Cruella De Vil, Cruella De Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. To see her is to take a sudden chill. Cruella, Cruella. She's like a spider waiting for the kill. Look out for Cruella De Vil. At first you think Cruella is a devil, but after time has worn away the shock, you come to realize you've seen her kind of eyes, watching you from underneath the rock. This vampire bat, this inhuman beast, she ought to be locked up and never released. The world was such a wholesome place until Cruella, Cruella De Vil. Hello YouTube, Film Buff 06 here, and in this video I'm continuing my Disney villain character reviews series, by this time talking about the one, the only, the infamous Cruella De Vil. She was, of course, based off of the original character from the original novel, The 101 Dalmatians, which was written in 1956 by Dodie Smith. Her first appearance was, of course, in the classic 1961 Disney animated adaptation of the story 101 Dalmatians. She was animated by Nine Old Men member Mark Davis, and was actually the last character he ever animated for the studio long before his retirement in 1978. Was developed by storyman Bill Peet, and has had a memorably catchy theme song written about her, which was originally written by Mel Levin. The live-action reference model for the animators was character actress Mary Wicks, who would later go on for the studio before her death to only partially voice one of the gargoyles, Laverne, in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. She was also originally voiced by veteran voice actress Betty Lou Gerson, and nowadays is voiced by another veteran voice actress, Susan Blakesley. This version of Cruella De Vil has also gone down in history as not only one of the most well-known and iconic Disney characters and villains of all time, but also one of the best movie villains of all time, as proven by her ranking 39th place on the American Film Institute's list of the 100 greatest heroes and villains. Dodie Smith was initially inspired to create Cruella's character in the original book by a friend who came into her house, saw their dogs together, and joked those dogs would make a lovely fur coat. In fact, in the original novel, Cruella is married with a useless husband and has a white Persian cat, which has a central role in the book, which she constantly abuses every day. For example, she drowned the cat's kittens, or she says she drowned the kid's kittens. This incarnation of Cruella was initially designed as almost a manic take-off, or really send-off, on the flamboyant actress known as Tallulah Bankhead, as well as some of her, over-the-top and eccentric personality quirks. Believe it or not, unless you probably already knew this, Cruella was originally going to be the villainess of The Rescuers, but the idea was quickly abandoned because the studio wasn't interested in producing sequels at that time, at least until The Rescuers Down Under in 1990. And as a result, Madame Medusa was created in her place. Now, to those of you who haven't read the original book, or even seen the animated and or live-action films, I mean, to those people, in what cave have you been hiding? Cruella De Vil is a glamorous but spoilt heiress who has a spectacular obsession with animal fur coats, and for some unspecified reason, she wants to kidnap 99 Dalmatian puppies, including 15 that have been born to Roger and Anita Dilly or Radcliffe. Depends on which adaptation. And their dogs, Pongo and Perdita, to make a huge fur coat coat for herself. However, once those 99 Dalmatian puppies have managed to escape her old family mansion, Hell Hall, which by the way is appropriately named because Cruella, of course, is a devil woman through and through. Cruella, along with her incompetent henchmen, Horace and Jasper Baden, heads off in pursuit of the Dalmatians in order to finally achieve her goal of getting the coat of her dreams. So, I know the question that you all have been thinking of asking me. What are my thoughts on Cruella De Vil? On Cruella De Vil. Wow. Wow. I mean, what could I honestly possibly say about Cruella that hasn't been said before so many times by so many critics? Firstly, she is miserable and perfectly wretched in her own way, and that rather brief description of her character makes it really easy for most of the dog lovers in the audience to really love to hate her, really. Firstly, there is obviously no denying that she is such a terrifying but funny at the same time character. Like Maleficent immediately before her, Cruella's just one of those villains that's completely evolved from the excellent voice acting by Betty Lou Gerson and the fantastic animation by Mark Davis. Speaking of which, I love the way that the character is drawn. Not only do I like the fact that the character design inherits some of Cruella's visual traits from the original book, like her black and white hair and the huge white mink coat, which seems to swing about her like a cloak. But I also like her, facially bizarre and repulsive appearance with this ridiculously thin skeletal body, these huge cheekbones, and especially this cadaverous and skull-like face that looks like something you'd expect to see in a horror movie, and also looks like Lady Gaga if she aged about 60 years. Sorry if I offended any Lady Gaga fans, by the way. Anyway, even in her first scene, she makes a truly indelible impression on the audience. I mean, her silhouette sort of shows up like a spider, and once she comes through that door, your immediate first instincts about this character is that she is most definitely up to no good. And I also like how, unlike Scar or Captain Hook or Maleficent, Cruella would rather not plot out what she is going to do, but rather act on her impulses and do anything in her power to get what she wants, to the point where this recklessly impulsive nature, drives Cruella to do some of the craziest things you could possibly imagine. I mean, for example, during the brilliantly suspenseful climax of the film, she correctly suspects that the black Labrador puppies who are trying to escape from her are in fact the Dalmatian puppies covered in black soot, and she and the Baddens pursue this lorry truck in which the puppies are hiding. She tries to ram this lorry truck off the road, and almost succeeds in a way which results in her car bonnet being torn off during the chase as a result of her insanely reckless driving. The chase, of course, comes to an entertaining end when the Baddens accidentally hit Cruella's car, sending both her and themselves over the cliff. All three survive, but Cruella furiously berates the Baddens for their incompetence, while at the same time mourning the loss of her beloved Dalmatian fur coat. And afterwards, we're left up to our own imaginations on whether Cruella was arrested for her crimes or whatever the case, which is in itself a case of less is more, really. I also want to very briefly rant on her appearance in the 2003 direct-to-video sequel 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure. All I can say about that is her motivation was boringly tiresome. I mean, we have had 4 films, after all, where her motivation has been, and probably always will be, the same. Her animation in that film was ugly, and her lines were in no way and not in any stretch of the imagination as memorable as those in the original. Enough said, really. Overall, all I can simply say about Cruella is that although she may not be as extraordinarily evil as Jafar, Scar, or Maleficent, regardless, Cruella I think Cruella thoroughly deserves her iconic status as one of the greatest movie villainesses of all time, and is right up there with some of the greatest Disney villains in the studio's history. My rating for Cruella De Vil as a character is a 9 out of 10. Now, feel free to leave a comment in the section below and let me know your thoughts on the animated incarnation of Cruella De Vil, and also what you'd rate her out of 10. Plus, feel free to subscribe to my channel. My next Disney villain character review is going to be of Cruella's live-action incarnation, which was of course portrayed by Glenn Close. Until then, do take care everyone, and cheerio, cheerio darlings.